Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sweet Spot. We are here live at the Independent Hotels Show in sunny Miami, Florida. I think one of probably the meccas of independent hotels. It has such a variety. I am here with Jennifer Barnwell, president of the Curator Hotel Resort Collection. Jennifer, Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, I'm happy to be here and talk about the perfect spot for me to be. A conference called the Independent Hotel Show. Like, I could not be happier. They brought it here to the States and that we're here together today.
It's fantastic. This is the first one, hopefully first of many.
Right.
You just did a fantastic job of your panel, Champion Independence. I love that title. Talk a little bit about that panel and what you were talking about today.
Yeah, so the goal or the main theme we were trying to get across was you can be part of Curator and reap all the benefits, but maintain your identity and what makes you special. That's at the core of how we created and launched the company. So we are purely for independent hotels, and we harness the power of scale that independent hotels typically cannot get access to. We're not going to be part of big brands. We're not going to get their pricing and their leverage. But how can we still come together for mutual benefit initially on the cost side of things?
Yeah.
And then what we've been moving into the back half of this year is how can we help our member properties drive more revenue at the top line.
And what we talked about off screen is just the authenticity that is needed for an independent hotel. I love this show because it's all been about building your brand and telling your story, whether it's on online reviews, social media, whether it's partnering with Curator, right, to help you do that. But talk a little bit about that authenticity and where that fits in, especially with the independent hotels.
Yeah, well, listen, independent hotels are so special.
Yeah.
I love them so much. I've had the great fortune of working on many in my past history before Curator. But the main issue is going down the independent hotel route is much more challenging. It's much more difficult for many, many reasons in terms of access and awareness. But the payoff is just so much huge, so much bigger. The people in independent hotels are so special and so inspiring and so creative and unique. But it's more difficult.
Yeah.
So you have to focus on things like social media, doing everything you can on your social media accounts to gain awareness, everything you can on your hotel website to tell your story and what makes you special and unique. And what Curator does, if you come into the Curator Hotel Collection, we have an amazing, we call it a discovery website. It's very visual. It tells all the stories about the properties specifically with beautiful imagery and descriptions. But what we've done very recently, just a couple weeks ago, we launched our revamped website that also lists experiences.
Yeah.
So what a perfect marriage between independent hotels and experiences, because independent hotels already have a story, are unique, have amazing amenities and characteristics on property. They're usually in the most amazing locations. They have the most amazing team members that probably have some hobbies and interests and relationships outside of the hotel. So create these amazing experiences for your guests, which are going to get you awareness. It's gonna keep your property guests coming back maybe for repeat visits, but most importantly, they're gonna tell other people about it.
Yes.
And that's really the key to independent hotels getting, awareness and amplifying who they are, their brand, their experiences, is if they deliver on that guest experience, other people are going to talk about it.
Absolutely. And there's so many ways and channels now, like you were talking about, online reviews, social media channels to talk about those experiences, because it is. I mean, if you're a hotelier out there and or even a guest, us guests are also, or us hoteliers are also guests.
Of course.
You go into an independent, you're right, the rewarding side of it, every single one of these hotels has a story. It has a rich history. Ask the operators, ask the team, because they'll tell you. And it's such a rewarding feeling to kind of, even some of the Miami properties that we've been in have, we've heard some amazing stories of that. I want to switch gears and talk a little bit about technology. We've been exploring that a lot right now. independents have the freedom to do a lot more than maybe another hotel that might be restrained by the brands when it comes to technology and implementing, but it might not be the right fit for every single independent hotel. So where do you feel like technology fits in the guest experience specifically for independent hotels?
I guess there's kind of two lenses to view it through. If you are the property operator or the owner, this idea of choice, why not let the guests choose what they want?
Yeah.
That's kind of one perspective. And then the other perspective is, if you are the guest, then you'll choose kind of what you want, or you'll gravitate to that specific property or type of service that jives most with kind of what you want. So our approach is we want to be out in front and understand what's new and engaging and interesting, but not only from the guest experience standpoint, but also the employee standpoint.
Yeah.
We never want to forget about the employees. We want to make sure that they are happy, that they can do what they need to get done efficiently, and then you can retain them. So
yeah, huge problem right now.
We kind of run the gamut in the collection, which makes sense in the independent hotel space. On one end of the spectrum, there may be a hotel brand or operator that is on the smaller end, and they're really about personal touch. They have a very specific, service mentality and focus, and they're never going to have a kiosk in their hotel lobby. They don't want it. That's not what they're all about.
Yeah.
On the other end of the spectrum, I'm not going to name it. I was, in a hotel here recently, wonderful boutique on Miami Beach, and they have the check-in kiosks. And I was so excited to finally see it in person and use it for the first time.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
That's also a critical component of it. If you employ these technologies in your hotels, they have to work so that the experience isn't frustrating.
Yes.
And part of what we do in Curator is we can pilot test all these technologies as they come out and make sure they work, see how guests actually interact with them, or if they don't, maybe it's no use putting it in there. But we come from, again, a place of why not let the guests decide kind of what they want. So we have all those offerings that our properties can enroll in, and it's up to them where they want to, utilize them or not.
Yeah, personalization at its finest, but you have to keep those lines of communication open to your guests and hearing the feedback that they're giving you when it comes. And it's the hotels that really understand who their ideal guest is and who they want and who they want to be, and kind of that brand and authenticity that we were talking about. That's been a theme throughout this whole conference and conversation here. So I want to thank you for joining the Sweet Spot. Anything, I know you've already mentioned multiple things that's new with Curator Collection, but anything else that you want to get out to our hotel audience out there?
I would definitely say check out our Instagram. It is relaunched. It's amazing. Lots of video content, lots of rich images. And start there and then visit our website too.
Awesome. Jennifer, thank you so much. Hopefully the first of many visits to the Sweet Spot. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Sweet Spot.